Hey guys, I do a lot of different outdoor activities here in the Pacific Northwest, and I hope to show you more and more of those kind of things as I upload more videos. But one thing that's really important is my everyday carry gear. Whether I'm going out on one of these outdoor adventures, or I'm just going to the office or just running errands. This is the gear I think is really important to have. So I wanted to take you through it really quickly as kind of a baseline, tell you why I think it's important, what I like about it. Certainly this is subjective. What works for you might be totally different, and that's cool. But here's what works for me. So knives. I think a knife is the most important piece of equipment you can carry. I never leave the house without a knife. The first knife I carried pretty much on a daily basis was this Gerber Fast Draw. So this is an assisted opening knife, about a 3.5-inch blade, I believe. You can look up all the statistics if you want, but nothing fancy, not a terribly expensive knife, but it served me really well. I really don't have any complaints about it. It's got this partial serrated blade, which is really nice for an emergency situation if you had to cut through rope or something like that. But overall, it's been a good, solid knife. So I carried this for years at this point. But recently I've upgraded, at least I consider it an upgrade, to these Kershaw launch knives. I've got both the Launch 3 and the Launch 4. The Launch 4 is the little guy. Both of these are automatic opening knives, so just push button open. They're both made in the USA. They both have this CPM 154 blade steel, which so far to me has just been awesome steel, really holds an edge well. I use this little number 4 for going to work, just running errands around town, where maybe carrying a bigger knife wouldn't be that comfortable or maybe not that appropriate. But this one is a nice little automatic knife. I really like it. I do have the bigger brother. This is the Launch 3. And so, again, this over 3-inch blade, I don't remember exactly how long. As a matter of fact, I think this knife is illegal in California, which to me just makes it that much cooler. But again, same steel, same US build. It's been a great knife. And so if I'm going anywhere outdoors, something like that, going on a hike or doing any of these other activities, this is the knife I'm carrying now all the time. And it's just been a great knife. Incidentally, I almost didn't buy this knife because I read a couple of reviews where some people had said, oh, it doesn't lock up very well. You push the button and the blade won't lock up about 3/4 of the time, or only locks up about 3/4 of the time. That really bugged me, but I took a chance on it, and I gotta say I've not had that problem at all. As a matter of fact, I can't make this knife not lock up. I've tried pushing the button fast or pushing the button slow, pushing it hard or soft. Every single time, this blade just locks up totally solid. So I suspect maybe that was just an issue that Kershaw was able to work out, because again, I haven't seen any problems with that, and I really love this knife. So, a couple other tools, getting away from knives a little bit. First of all, this little Gerber shard. This thing just lives on my keychain. Most of the time, I don't use it for anything. Well, most of the time I just don't use it. I grab my keys and I stab my fingers on these little sharp edges. But I do keep it on there just because it could be useful, and I have used it a couple times. So it's got a bottle opener, a little nail puller, Phillips screwdriver. I think that's about it. I mean, it supposedly has these little wire stripper things, but if that's what that's really supposed to be, this is like the world's worst wire stripper, so maybe in an emergency, but even then I think that'd be iffy. But nonetheless, it's lightweight, fits on my keychain, so I carry that. Now this surprised me. For years I never carried a tactical pen, but now I'm pretty much never without one. First of all, 99% of the time you just need a pen. So, and hopefully for you it's 100% of the time. For me, I'm happy to say so far it's been that way. I've not had to use this thing in any kind of tactical situation. So you just need a pen. It's a pen, right? And this is one of the few tactical pens I know of that has this push button opening, but you need a pen, it's a pen, that's fine. But it is this really heavy material. It's got this tool steel tip for glass breaking if you needed to. It's just a nice thing to have for security. And so there's times where I pull this thing out, I'm not quite sure, maybe I'm walking down the street somewhere, it's looking a little bit sketchy. Nothing wrong with just holding a pen in your hand. If you pulled this out and carried it in your hand walking down the street, that would send a very different message and just may not be appropriate. So having a tactical pen, I think is great. Like I said, most of the time you just need a pen, and it's a pen. So otherwise, I also make a point to always carry a lockpick set. Now, this is not a great set for picking locks. It works fine in a pinch, which is exactly what it's for, in my opinion. But if you were new to lock picking or you really wanted to do some finesse, this little Southord jackknife set would not be what I would go for. I'd go for, you know, Southord tools are fine. I have quite a bit of them, but the full-size picks, I also really like Peterson tools. Those are probably my favorite. But in a pinch, this will get you through. So there's a little tension bar that comes right in here. So you get this tension wrench for bottom of the keyway tension. And then if you loosen this little nut right here, this little knurled nut. And by the way, one trick is to use the tensioner to pull out these picks. You get about 5 picks plus a broken key extractor right here. This isn't real sharp. I don't know how well it'd work for a broken key. I've never tried it, but you do get a city rake, you get a snake rake. It's a great tool. I'm not going to talk about this too much. There's some other great reviews already posted, but I do carry this thing with me every day, and in a pinch it will work fine. So otherwise, I keep about 8 feet of paracord in my bag all the time. I own a Duluth pack bag. It's got some cutouts to put pens in, and I wrapped up about 8 feet of paracord, and you know, when I wrapped it this way, it fits right in one of those pen pockets. You just never know it was there, and paracord can be really handy. A set of earplugs, that's one that took me a while to realize, but now I'm really grateful, or I have been grateful on many occasions to have those with me. You just never know when you might need a set of earplugs. They weigh next to nothing, so having them in your bag, you'll just never notice. And then a watch. Now this is kind of strange because for years I just carried my cell phone. I thought, why would I need a watch? But after trying to fish my cell phone out of my pocket when my hands are wet or cold, or I have my waders on or something like that, and then on top of that, you risk dropping your cell phone in the rocks or in the water where you couldn't get it. Get yourself a watch. Just this Timex Ironman watch. I didn't really buy it with the intent of using it as much as I do, but anytime I'm out in the woods, and as a matter of fact, just most all the time now, I'm wearing a watch. Finally, sunglasses. I wear natives. They fit me like a glove. I love the quality. They're apparently at least built in the USA. They're expensive. These are going to run you probably over $100, but much like my knives or any of my gear here, if I'm going to be using it on a daily basis, I want to have good gear. I love the fact that that a lot of this is built in the USA, and on top of that, I just want good quality. So if it's in your budget, I would encourage you to go with nicer gear. Anyway, the last thing I have is not something I everyday carry, but I want to be sure to show it because I think it's important, and that is a decent flashlight. This is a Surefire. It's a Fury model. This is a little bit older one, at least I've had it for quite a while. But this thing is really, really bright. And so I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but it's really bright. I don't everyday carry this thing. It's just too big. There are plenty of smaller lights available, I guess, if you want to. But this thing's never very far from me, especially at night. I keep this within reach in case I need to get a hold of a really bright light really quickly. It's nice to know that's there. So I've been a big fan of this Surefire flashlight. Buying the batteries is not fun. They're quite expensive, but it's worth it to have. So anyway, that's my everyday carry gear. Hope you enjoyed going through this with me, and I'll see you next time.